TK, welcome to Utube
Well,
Conversations. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. Okay, so let's get into it. So you currently in Atlanta, right?
Yeah. Yep.
You
I've
grew
been
up
here
there?
10 years.
10 years?
Yep. I went
Okay.
to college here and just I knew I was never leaving.
Okay. And
Well,
where was your?
I won't say that. I knew I was never going back to New York. So I was like, this is gonna be have to be it until I figure out someplace else. So
So you grew up in New York. What's the issue with New York?
uh, where do I start? I love my city. Always will love my city. I'm always gonna put on for Brooklyn to the day I die. You know, Brooklyn is a part of me, raised me, nurtured me, and then propelled me forward. But it's overpriced for nothing. It stinks. When I had left New York for so long and I went back for a vacation, I had got off the China bus and I was like, "What is that smell?" And I thought I was tripping at first. I was like, "Okay, let me just get on the train, whatever." I'm smelling it on the train. I'm like, what? New York freaking smells like hot ass and garbage. Jesus Christ! It's like I immediately cannot breathe being back there. I was like, I've been living in this my whole life. Like I was so accustomed to it. I was so accustomed to it. I had no idea, but there's just nothing there for me. Besides, of course, my family or whatever. But like, there's nothing there for me. I love it. Will always cherish the city. It's a part of me everywhere I go. Like I said, I don't think that I have a New York accent. When I talk to the first time I talk to somebody else, people from New York be like, you sound country. And people from the country, they be like, I could tell that you're not from here. Whatever. So I love the city, but yeah, there just was nothing there for me. So I knew I wasn't going back.
Any siblings?
Yes, I'm the eldest of 9 children total.
Mm.
Right. My mom and my dad have 6 girls together. Then they divorced. And my dad has 2 boys now that live on the West Coast, but I still, have a good relationship with them. And my mom has my other brother who was adopted from being my sister's godchild. It's crazy how that the whole story happened, but he is my young brother. We had him since he was like 2 on and off, and then became official. He was like 5 or 6. And now he's like 10 going, about to be 11. So I consider him my sibling, like I would any of my other siblings. But yes, I'm the eldest of 9 children.
So put all 9 siblings in one room, including your parents. What happens? Or
I
what
would
has
never.
happened?
I would not show up. I would not show up to that. First of all, me and all of my siblings all have very, very different personalities. I recently realized in like going to therapy that and talking to my 2 sisters that are right underneath me. So it's like the 3 oldest and the 3 youngest, it's amongst the girls at least. Um, just really realizing that my younger sisters don't really know me. That's like a hard truth to swallow. So we have like really big disconnects. Like my youngest sister is 17 years old. I'm like 11 years older than her. We're completely different people. So and then like as your parents get older, they get softer. So then like as the older kids, you're like, you're not gonna slap her for that. That's wild. If that was me, my face would have been on this wall. You're not gonna slap. Wow. Now you want to practice gentle parenting? Wow. That's wild. My mother and my father absolutely do not like each other. They do not like each other at all. My mother loves my stepmother, but hates my dad. My dad loves my stepfather, but hates my mom. like it's just no. So that would be chaotic. Good God, that's a good question. Ooh, I probably need to write something about that. That's hilarious.
That's your next skit, right?
Right, that is hilarious. That is so funny.
So, for the time being, you did grow up in a two-parent household, right?
Until I was like 11 or 12. Yeah.
Okay. So during the time before you was 11 years old, if you can remember, you had friends or people other peers your age that didn't have a father,
Yeah.
right? And how was that? How was their life? Was your father always around even after 11?
Yeah, I was actually the only sibling that lived with my dad. I lived with my father majority of high school. Me and my mother did not get along when I was coming up at all. Um, Actually, it's so funny. Me and my father got into a really big argument yesterday, and I cut him off because he invalidated my trauma. But
Mm.
I've always been a daddy's girl. I've always been a team dad. My father can like, I'll tell my father that he's doing wrong, but you better not tell me nothing about my dad. Like I've always protected my father in that sense. And my friends that didn't have dads, they were very, it was like two different aspects that I noticed growing up. It was either like a pick me, like the girl or the guy that wanted, well, I'll talk for women since I'm a woman first. The woman that wanted every man to see her. Look at me, I'm cute, I'm this, blah, blah, blah. And then there was the girl that was very absent from people. She took everything everybody said with a grain of salt. She never believed anything anybody said, especially men. Never believed any promises because her dad wasn't around. As far as boys, though, completely different spectrum. They were just wild. They were just wild. They were all over the place, or they were extremely introverted and could not find the joy of life. So those are the two different sides as far as it concerns women and men. And for me, somebody who had both of my parents in the home until I was like 11 or 12, and then went through or lived through a very nasty custody battle, disgusting, that I was in the dead center of. It was also like I also experienced those things. I became disconnected from life because like everything around me was always chaotic. I was just like, I would disassociate. So, or be extremely angry, one or the other. But I see the effects of not having a child in the life. But even with my sperm donor, uh, I'd rather have an absent parent than a parent that's in your life causing chaos. And I'd rather you get the hell on, get the fuck away, than you be inconsistent, causing drama, trying to yell, trying to argue. I'd rather an absent parent than what I went through, honestly. And of course, it's easier for me to say because I didn't go through it, but I'm as an adult now going through the situation. I'm like, yeah, no, I would rather you be out of here than be in my life trying to cause havoc.
Uh, Poor, middle class, or rich? How did you grow up?
Poor as fuck. As fuck.
I grew up poor too. I always wondered, how come they didn't create birth control for roaches? I think that would have I've been less traumatized as a kid.
And mice.
Oh,
Because no, that's a real shit.
that
That
is
is
so that you
real
have to be
shit.
really poor to even have that idea, right?
That
Yeah, man. It's like, damn, they're
that's
in
hilarious.
Section 8 too. Damn, they just mating,
Right,
mating. God, leave. You can't
right,
step on them. They still crawl away. You spray them, they laugh at you.
right. They're like,
Damn, man.
especially New York roaches. Like New York roaches and New York rats. Oh, baby, I don't mess with those. If you in my house, you live here too. Are you gonna pay rent? No, okay, it's cool. I'll pay for it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. But no, I understand the struggle.
What was your biggest struggle growing up?
Ooh.
Only one thing.
Okay, when you say growing up, you mean as like a child, teenager, like
I would
what?
say it could be anything. Till today's date. I
Oh,
would say what's the biggest struggle, but you learned from it.
like until today. Um, it would have to be like this year, actually. Very transformative space I'm in. Um, I'm trying to see because there's so many things that are in my mind right now. So I'm trying to think what is the biggest thing that has stood out. Oh, you create your own reality. That's the biggest, like all of the trauma, everything that I've been through. I've lost so many people this year that I thought would be around forever. I've gained people that I never thought I would be close to. I've been in rooms, and my name has been in rooms and spaces that I never thought I'd see. But I realized through all of that, the one thing is me creating my reality. What you choose to focus on is what you make real. Um, and that there's a downside to that because people could say that and have a lack of accountability. But for me, it is genuinely just been learning, truly learning from the lessons that the universe has put me through. And I've been in a little loop for years. It's my first year out of that loop. or getting out of that loop. Hopefully I don't get caught, my shirt don't get caught on it and I fall back in that motherfucker. I hope that's not the case. But like just really understanding that you create your own reality, and what you focus on and how you focus on something is how you will react, how you will perceive the world, how you will move forward, in every aspect. So that's probably the biggest thing that I've learned through my struggles. My biggest struggle is being bipolar. I've
Okay.
been diagnosed as being bipolar since I was 14 years old. And growing up, I didn't accept it until last year, until 2020, because my mother had always taught me like what you believe you are is what you are. Mental health don't really work like that. As a kid, like I've always said, if anybody asks, most people that have known, like, I mean, yeah, I'm diagnosed bipolar, but like I don't believe that about myself, so that's just not what it is. Whole time I'm still experiencing all the emotions and mental shit of being bipolar, not realizing that that's what it is. So I let a lot of people tell me that I was angry. I let a lot of people tell me that I was crazy. I let a lot of people tell me, and I believe that because I didn't believe that I was bipolar. So accepting that I was bipolar really helped me accept all of the different parts of myself. Yes, I hear voices. Yes, I talk to them motherfuckers, and yes, I respond. We be having conversations in this mug. Like, like, wait, can I curse? I ain't even asked that.
You can, just not
Okay, minimal. Got you.
extreme. Yeah.
Got you. So not New Yorker. I can do Atlanta. Okay, bad. Can New York curse? Bad. But like I just be having conversations in here. Like we're like, yeah, this is what it is. This is a part of you, and it's cool, and there's nothing wrong with that, because this is not your fault. You didn't choose this. You didn't be like, oh, yep, let me pick this brain. Like it is what it is. So coping with that, that's probably my biggest struggle. But what I've learned from it in that space is that you create your own reality.
So, what helped you to realize you have? I mean, obviously, you heard that from the doctor. This is an issue you had since you was 14. When did you? What helped you realize it's okay to have that issue?
Because I can't get rid of it. My patterns. I was like, this is my pattern. This has been my same pattern for like over 15 years. Oh my God. Like, I'm like, I just got really real, really real, really raw with myself. Like, girl, this is not just an anger problem. This is not just you're mad at, like, you have episodes. And I started paying attention to my patterns and really going back through the last 10 to 12 years of my life. And I'm like, you're always feeling this during this season, and then you're feeling depressed during this season, or you're triggered every time somebody says this. Or so I began to try to take control of my life, to be like, okay, I'm or have been, not anymore, working through that, a very reactive person. I am not the bully. I'm the person that beats up the bully. I've always been that, right? I'm Captain Save-A-Hoa. Like, like I'm the person that beats up the bully. But bigger than that, I've never started issues. I don't start problems, but I'm really good at finishing them. And what I realized was I've always been reactive, which makes me a puppet. And I ain't no damn puppet. So I'm like, how do you take control of your life? And I just realized, I started, like just doing small things. Like, okay, the next time somebody does this, this makes you mad. The next time somebody does this, let's try talking to them about it. Did that for a little bit, and then I was realizing my boundaries were still being overstepped, doing that. So now it's like, I'm at the space now, it's like, I just have to remove myself. There is no talking. Because until I can merge, like if I will talk, but if I talk to you and I got to remove myself, because my mental, I don't know how to control anything past that yet. So it's like, if I'm trying to talk to you and I'm being calm and I'm being cool and I'm constantly disrespected, I know that at this stage that I'm in right now, well, I won't say right now, probably like 6 months ago, within the last 6 months, I would still lose it. It's like, damn, okay, well, that's still falling back into the same pattern. So for me, I just genuinely just focused inward and just been like, I can't change this about myself. So how do we live with it?
Have you, now that you're dealing with it, right?
Mhm.
Have you realized that you're not alone?
Yes. Oh my God, yes.
Have you realized that a lot of
Shit made me
people,
emotional.
they
Good
have
God.
the same issues?
Yeah. And a lot of people have the same issues that are undiagnosed. So I can only imagine what that is. You don't even know what it is that you're experiencing. You just think that Why am I happy one minute, sad the next, angry, then depressed all in one day, like Atlanta weather? Like, how is this happening? Like, how is this all happening to me in one day? And that's helped me significantly though, to know that I'm not alone. I remember I made a joke, probably when I was in college. And somebody was like, talking to yourself ain't the problem. It's when you start responding that's the issue. And I was like, oh damn, I'll be responding to myself. And everybody was like, what? And then, but when I said that, other people was like, yeah, I ain't gonna hold you. I definitely be responding to myself too. Like, so I realized that I am a person that makes other people live in their truth. I've heard this all of my life, but more this year than ever. People like, you know why I like you? Because you're unapologetically you. And the way that I've looked at it is this is my norm. So I don't know how to do anything else but just do this. And through the mess ups, through the falls, through me breaking down, I've just always been myself at every level of what that was. I've lied to myself before, but I don't lie to other people. Like, you just what you get is what you see is what you get. This is what it is. But realizing that there are so many other people out here who are just discovering their mental health and just really realizing that, okay, something is wrong, and being okay with that and taking the step to get the help, that has motivated the hell out of me.
What do you say to people who have mental issues, which is I think everyone, but
Right, especially with the pandemic.
yeah, but they're taking drugs,
What do you mean? What kind of drugs are we talking?
any
Like
marijuana, anything?
medicine that is prescribed or
No, no,
recreational
unprescribed
drugs?
drugs, unprescribed.
Unprescribed drugs. I've dealt with this as well. Mm. Okay,
Like, do you
so
believe that they should handle those issues? I mean, it's a lifetime thing, you know.
what I will say is be very patient with yourself. Over my years, I've experimented, and this is just from me, probably just being in college alone. I've experimented with a lot of different drugs. None of the like crazy like stuff that are like heroin. That like I've never gone that far. Not crack, not heroin, But I've done a lot of
Yeah,
things before, and while doing this in this space, I've done it for fun and I've done it to cope. So I think you have to recognize, say no to drugs. Let me just say that. Let me get that out the way. I'm not in any way endorsing take drugs or anything like that. But if that's something that you're doing, and because when they say that you have all the answers, you have them. You got to just tap in. So when you know that you're doing it and why you're doing it, that's when you have to be like, okay, let me step back because I don't want to. I don't even know if this is the real me. Because what drugs do to people who are neurodivergent is, it puts us in a really good mood and it gives us a lot of false hope of what reality actually is. So it clouds our judgment. It clouds us in so many different areas that we don't realize until we come down. And then when we come down, we're probably really mean, really introverted, really embarrassed. And I'm gonna even throw alcohol in there as a drug, like all of that stuff. Like we're using it to cope and we're making bad decisions doing that, but realizing the problem when we're in that space. So if you're doing something like that, you just got to make sure that you realize what the issue is and have a plan to get out. And that, of course, there's different levels to people doing drugs. There are people who are like really addicted. So if you're addicted, I say, you got to cut it out. But if it's something you're doing recreationally to cope, it is something that you need to look at for sure.
yeah, because there's a study that people with mental health, severe mental health, they're harming themselves, harming other people. The main issue with them is that they don't believe they're crazy. That's one of the major problems. Reason why they don't get help is because they think that they're normal and think you're not normal. You
Well, I
know?
won't say the word crazy is a triggering term for people who have mental
Yeah, I
health
know.
issues. So um, I like to say something's not right because that's what I'm like. No, you're perfect the way you are. You're good. You're fine. If I'm having a manic episode, which is the upside of depression, so I would look really, really excited. I'd have all these amazing ideas. I'd make all these promises and won't follow through. Spending a huge amount of money, all of that, like making irrational decisions. And this is before I knew, before I accepted it for myself. I would be doing all of this stuff. And I wouldn't see anything wrong with it until I was depressed. So I was focused on what's the bad at the time. But a lot of people who go through these kinds of things, like a lot of this shit is just it's a chemical imbalance. So like it's not that they don't, well, it is that they don't think it, but they've created this reality amongst what actually goes on in their head, and they don't want to be pulled out of that reality, which is why they don't go get help, because people are telling them you're crazy, and instead of saying, no, you're perfect, actually, you're amazing, but let's just talk to somebody just to, make sure that we have your thoughts compartmentalized. I just want to make sure that, like your thoughts are like doing good up there and stuff like that. Like we are more acceptable to go with what somebody else is saying when it is, if you treat us like, okay, something is off. If you know something is off, like I wouldn't call a person, like if I see somebody that's I'm trying to think of a good analogy. Hold on. It's kind of like I wouldn't say something about somebody when it's evident. If that makes sense. If it's in a mental health space.
That makes sense.
I'm not gonna be like, you're crazy, then think that they're gonna listen to me. Like, but yeah, in that space, that's literally, you're right.
Yeah. So no, I do apologize for saying crazy. I think I say crazy just to go to the extreme. So now on July 9th, you did a live stream called Check In with My Knockouts. Right? Mm-hmm. Okay. And number one, did you change the smoke detector battery?
Yes, I did. When I tell you that, okay, so y'all are the people who made me realize that it was even going off, because again, I grew up poor. That was like a normal in my house. I ain't even like, this is my first time having my own apartment. So once somebody pointed it out, I started hearing it and I could not stop hearing it, like in my sleep. Like it was like, and it wasn't just one, it was all of the smoke detectors. I moved into the apartment that way. My ceilings, look, my ceilings are so high. Like I can't get up there. So I had to call maintenance. Maintenance did not think at the time that it was an emergency issue because they were backed up with COVID and all that stuff. I was like, no. I run my business out of my house. I need this changed. Like
battery, yep.
ASAP. It drove me. I had to wait an extra like 2 weeks to get the fire alarm changed. And when I would tell you, I was down there every day. Thank God they fired everybody in that damn police office. They won't do a damn thing about it. And like, I was going off every other day. Like, nobody came. Like, I really need this handled. This is affecting my money. I teach classes. Like, I'm giving them everything. I'm like, I can't do anything because this is affecting me. Hello. I need to change. And they came and changed it. But yes, child, that was driving me crazy. It was one of the times I didn't notice until y'all said something. And I was like, wow, now I have to live with this. Thanks, guys.
So in that video, we are speaking about mental health and so forth. In that video, you said that I think you haven't been drinking as often or not hard liquor or something like that. Has that, have you been keeping up with that?
Yeah, I haven't. February will make a year since I've drunk hard liquor.
Okay. Good.
Well, hold on, let me take that back. For my birthday in Jamaica, I drank some Jamaican rum, but then they tried to do this shot of tequila. I didn't know it was tequila. I was like, yeah, and I drank it. My body said, you have 30 seconds to get this, to find a bathroom. So by the time that I had drank it, by the time I drank it, I was like, okay, I can't do American liquor. I will say that if I go out the country, I will drink Caribbean rum. But my body rejects alcohol. And my body has been rejecting alcohol, hard liquor, long before I decided to stop drinking. But I was using it as a way to have fun, as a scapegoat, to be freaky. And it's like, girl, you got all of that stuff already. Like, you don't need that for none of that. But yeah, I still February, and I'm way beyond the peer pressure. I host a brunch every Sunday in Douglasville, out here in Georgia, Fin and Feathers. And every week people are like, let me buy you a drink. And I'm like, you can buy me some wine. And I've had people actually say, I'm not buying you no wine, but then you don't want to buy me a drink. Like, it's cool because I don't drink hard liquor. Like my homegirls that drink hard liquor real heavy. I have one, my homegirl Lambo. She's a drinker. You take this shot with me. And every single time I'll be like, you know that I don't drink hard liquor. Like, oh, I hate you. So when she's around me, she drinks wine because she knows that that's the only thing I'm gonna drink. So, but yeah, I've kept that up. I realized that because of it, I was making even worse decisions than what I was sober. I had gotten into a fight. And granted, the girl deserved it. Don't get me wrong. She deserved it. I asked her to stop doing something 3 times, and then I slapped her ass. But but I know that if I was sober, I would have walked away and been like, I would have said I was gonna slap her, but I wouldn't have done it. I would have just walked away. But drunk me was like, all ego. You got me messed up. Like, and I went, but after that, I was like, yeah, I'm good. I haven't drunk hard liquor since. I don't miss it. I don't desire to ever start again. Even on my birthdays, like I don't even include like alcohol in my plans. If y'all want hard liquor, if I have a huge party, I'd provide the hard liquor. But most situations, like y'all want that, y'all can buy that. I ain't got it. One of my homegirls left the bottle at my house. Okay, the bottle was still sitting there untouched. She was like, damn, I thought you would have drunk it. I was like, I don't drink hard liquor. Why don't y'all listen to me? But yeah, I still have not been drinking.
Like when you decide not to drink, you gotta remember it just takes one day for you to be doing something crazy, right?
Yeah.
And now with the social media thing, you even got your friends trying to record you doing.
Yes.
Post it. Like,
and some people are harmful behind it, but some people are innocent behind it, thinking it's something funny or so, and mess up your whole life. Yeah, I'm good.
Listen, if we're doing something,
some crazy ass situations, I should not be alive with all of the dumb shit I've done off of hard liquor. Wine put my ass to sleep. I can't even. I might get emotional sometimes off wine. Being wine drunk is completely different than being drunk off hard liquor. Like I will be out of there, or I am horny, or I am trying to cuddle. But all 3 of them things end in sleep. So I'm not trying to go out and party. If I'm out and I'm drinking wine socially, after about 2 or 3 glasses, I'm tired now. I want to go home. I don't feel the need.
How do you feel about, especially in New Jersey, 2 situations? They was during the COVID, they closed down all the businesses and so forth, except for the liquor stores. Governor Murphy said in order to avoid chaos, because they need that to be functional.
I didn't know that. Oh my
God. In California, they took the homeless off the streets. Okay, they put them in 5-star hotels and provided them with crack, cocaine, their choice of drugs, heroin. So there's a lot of stuff that's going on. And I think what's happened with us as Black people, we're fighting the wrong fight.
Yeah.
We're fighting like the whole thing with
oh my God, I did not know. So wait, they pay money with so which means the government has the money. Okay.
No, the government has the drugs, you mean?
You know what I'm saying? But put them in 5-star hotels. So my homeless people putting them in 5-star hotels.
Yep.
And giving them drugs.
So a lot of those 5-star hotels, 7 of them has actually closed. They had to go out of business. Because even though they got the homeless out, the reputation is a reputation. No one wants to be. If you have that bed right there, and you tell me a homeless person was sleeping on it for a long period of time, even though you remove the mattress and put a new one there, I don't want to be in the room.
Yeah.
I have nothing against homeless people, but I'm not sleeping there. You know.
Wow.
I have sensitive skin. So listen.
Yeah.
So social media, children using social media.
Kids using it, or their parents managing it?
Kids using social media.
Which, when you say kids, what you mean under 13? Under what you're supposed to be?
I would say, 13 and under.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not with it. I don't think that little kids need to be on social media at all.
What age would you allow your child to start using
13.
social media?
13.
13. And it's sad though, right? Because there's a lot of opportunity for young kids, but
exactly. But I need to be managing it before then. So like, if you want to be on social media, if you want to, like my son, mommy, I can't. So my sister is like big on TikTok. So my son wants to make like TikToks now, but now he wants his own TikTok. Little boy, you don't know how to work TikTok, but he might. He's 4, but he might know, because this is the most visually stimulated generation yet. So he might know how to work. He might not use it. I don't care. There's too much on social media for my 4-year-old to be able to see. It exposes too much too early. The whole let a kid be a kid, I'm really big on that. Like let your child be your child. And I will explain the ways of the world because it's much different than when I was growing up, when you were growing up. It's much different, but I am not a fan of children themselves running a social media. If you want to be on social media, I will record your content. I will put it up there. I will do everything you need me to do, baby. But you having control of it yourself, not at all. Mm-mm.
During the COVID trials, right, the vaccination, would you allow your child to be the test?
No, no. Child's not being tested nothing. I don't care how much money they was offering. Not at
Bryson, why?
all. Because my child's never gonna be a test subject.
No, no, no.
Oh,
I'm saying the name Bryson, right?
okay. Oh,
Why?
ooh. So my aunt actually helped me name Bryson because I wanted his name to be Taj. Um, my mom's name is Lataj, and I've always loved the name Taj since I was a little kid. Like, you know, when you're younger and you like writing baby names down for no reason, you don't even have a partner. You're like, you have to grow up and get a job and all of that stuff first. But this is when I was younger. And I had a couple of other names, but his name is my aunt came up with the name Bryce. She said it was cute. It was I had something else like similar to that, and she was like, "Ooh, what about Bryson?" And I was like, it just resonated with me. But then, deeper than that, my mom gave him his middle name, which is Kosi, which is she said it's Swahili means lion. Um, we all have African and or Arabic names, being all of my sisters. So Bryson Kosi, the initials, now this is the petty part or the childish part, was BK. I was like, I'm TK and I'm from BK, and Bryson would be BK. We going with it. We're going with it. And we went with it. So
Why did you become a content creator?
I've been on the internet for a long time. Which is why when you asked me if kids should be on the internet, I said no, because I've been on the internet since a kid. And I had no business on there. I had no business on there. And my mom didn't know. She used to try to, tell us we couldn't do it or whatever. Me and my sisters doing it behind our backs. When I started out on the internet, I was dancing. So I'm Jamaican, or come from Jamaican descent. So I was like doing all the head top stuff and all of that. Like that was my original thing. My mom found out and whooped my ass and it made me delete everything. This was back when there was like a thing called Skonex, then it was Bebo, then there was of course MySpace, and then transition. So around that time I was a child or child tween getting to a teenager or whatever. I've always loved like recording myself or being in front of a camera. Because I wanted to be an actor. Well, I still want to be an actress. Well, I am an actress. Take that back. I am an actress. But I just always have loved that aspect of being in front of the camera. So in 2013 or 2012, 2013, Vine became a popular platform. And I'm very opinionated. So I used to get on Vine and I just used to talk my stuff. And people really liked that. And then they used to have these things called Florida Super Vines, where people would meet up in Florida and like weekend or 4 or 5 days full of events. And we'd go there. That's how I met Jay Childish. I've known Jay Childish since like 2012, 2013. The people
Wow,
don't know
long
that. I've known
time.
him longer than anybody else that I was in ATL verse with. And because he was on Vine and we like would meet up and like have this great time, go to parties, create content, do all this funny stuff. And our fans were like just absolutely love it. And fans pulled up too, because it wasn't just limited to creators, like so that's how I started out with content. And then Instagram came around. Vine kind of died down. I started on Instagram. And I just really enjoyed speaking my mind. And then I got into skits. And it allowed my mind to really just like run wild and be creative and say, oh my God, I have so many ideas for so many. I not only just me personally, but I witness people experience so many amazing things and crazy things in life that I have to put this into a skit. So I started content. I really like making people laugh, but bigger than anything, I started it selfishly because I'm funny. I don't care what nobody says. I crack myself up. Like I'd be like, what's wrong with you? Like, what's wrong with you? I don't know what's wrong with me. Something's wrong with me. I started it originally selfishly, but then I realized what it was doing for people and to people, how I was moving people. And I was like, oh wow. Oh, y'all like this? I was doing this for me, but y'all like this. Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. And I just continued in that aspect.
Do you write your own skits?
Yes.
Do you ever get writer's block? Like for some time period, you're not able to come up with some content.
It's terrible. I actually did have a writer. I work with her, but I know she has a lot going on. Her name's Kim Radler out of LA. Absolutely love her. She's written on other like big shows as well, but she's an angel in my life, a literal angel in my life. And she's written a few skits for me, but majority I write my skits. And yes, it is extremely hard to writer's block. And for me, somebody who deals with depression and just all of that stuff, oh my God, it's so hard. But Tiffany said something to me so profound. I will never forget it. I always bring it up to her, even still to this day. And she was like, if you don't feel like doing anything, write a skit about not doing anything. And I was like, I'll keep you around,
Genius.
girl. I love you. So that it shifted my mind though to be like, I don't feel like doing nothing today. Let me do a skit about not feeling like not doing anything. So she helped cultivate my brain in the thing of like, if this content is what you're gonna do, you need to be thinking about that all the time. Unless you're on vacation, then you need to turn your brain off. But even then, the way that the internet works, everything moves so fast. When you're a content creator, you feel like you always got to be doing something. I always got to be creating. I always have to do X, Y, and Z, and that causes burnout. So when I have writer's block, I'm able to just now, take myself and be like, "Girl, we're not doing anything for 3 days. We're sitting down," and it's hard for me. It's hard. So and it's hard to do it and not be in a place of depression. And it's hard to do it and be in a place of depression. But it's hard for me to be like, okay, you're not really sad. You just have writer's block. It's like, no, we're not doing anything. We're just observing for the next 3 days. And then, normally it helps me get back up there.
Have you ever watched this TV show, two shows, the TV show Curb Your Enthusiasm?
Mm-mm. Just saw
Curb
that
Your
on
Enthusiasm.
HBO.
Not sure. Yeah, I think it was on HBO.
HBO Max?
I believe. I'm not too sure, but it's an old show, right?
Oh, okay.
So it's basically what it is that it's dry humor, meaning
I love
that
dry humor.
it's the
Like The
person that
Office.
stars in it. He wrote Seinfeld.
Okay.
So basically, what it is that if he's gonna go to a store, the skit is going to the store.
Yeah.
He's a retired old guy, and basically anything he does when he wakes up and out of the bed is just dry humor. So it's funny. You ever watch the show The Office?
I've never watched it to know the plot of it, but I've watched episodes, and it's hilarious.
But just the thought of it, you're saying off. How can a work in the office be funny? But they
Exactly.
made it funny,
Exactly.
So I think also too is that if you can't come up with any content, you
It's so
just
hilarious.
whatever you do, something that you just do it in a funny way, something like that.
Yeah, I agree.
Who do you feel like brought you into the content creator space? Who do you feel like kind of schooled you, like gave you the opportunity, or um, it doesn't mean that they gave you subscribers, but
No,
maybe they show you the
no, I
back end.
understand what you're saying. So starting out on content, nobody. When I started out, no, I didn't have anybody that told me you need to do this, you need to be doing that. I was just creating, I was just going crazy because this was just what I wanted to do. In 2015, Lonnie reached out to me through a friend, a mutual friend named Dominique, and she was like, "Hey, my homeboy, he has this team called the Funny Team. He really likes your work. He'd like to connect with you." So it was a girl named Dominique that introduced me to Lonnie at the time. Then me and him worked together, and it was like magic off rip. Like we was just like we kind of did things for each other. In that essence, I made his content a little more like edgier. He made mine a little more clean. Because at that time he was not all of the content that he's like all like rough around the edges, big booty holes, all that. He was solely against that when I first met him. He was like, I don't want my audience to be this. I don't want blah blah blah. So we helped each other out in that space. But I will say that as far as YouTube goes, so even with Instagram, I put myself on Instagram. Instagram was my platform. That was my thing. YouTube, Lonnie and Jamal were the people who said you need to get on YouTube. I fought them tooth and nail for about a year. I was like, no. But I was in all of their stuff all the time. But I was like, no, I don't, YouTube seems stupid. Like, and I had been on YouTube when I was in high school, but I didn't understand it. So I was like, no, I don't know. I don't think I want to do that. Like, I'm looking at what y'all are doing, like, whatever. Maybe one day. Then I finally started my YouTube. And then I won't say they put me on game. I got the game by watching them because they were not willing to teach. But I got the game by watching them. I got the game by being around them. I understood it by being like, oh, okay. And then Tiffany, which was an integral part to all of this, is an amazing businesswoman. She started helping me with the business. I have a very, very dear friend to me. His name was KO. Love this guy. He's like my OG because he's like older than me, but we vibe like we on the same age or whatever. But he be schooling me when I need to be schooled, and I be needing that. Amazing businessman. Like, so he started, like, they help cultivate the creative part of it. Excuse me, I just started like a motherfucker. They help me cultivate the creative part of it, and showed me like this is what you need to be doing. But the deeper I got into it, I realized that they weren't necessarily willing to like literally teach me. I just had to learn from being around. And then there were other people that came in that actually kind of was like, this is the game on that. And then now, Robbie, Third World, everybody call him Robbie World, but Rob, he is schooling me now on the game and like what's going on and like, yo, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to be on.
You
I
talking
even
about I
have,
got to go?
yes. I got to, yes. Him. So he's a really dear friend of mine now. So now him, but he's more willing to teach. So he's like, he'll actually like talk me through shit. Like, no, this is what it is, blah, blah, blah. So I learned the game of content through so many different people, and I'm grateful for it, for sure.
Yeah, I remember I really started paying attention to you when you was doing the counseling. Counseling came to your house, and I was like, "This is some ghetto shit."
Yeah. Yeah.
You portray someone that's angry, right?
Yeah.
But you're not.
I'm not at all. What is just so funny. I literally said this. It's hilarious because when I'm not angry, people be mad at me. Like, like, like when people meet me and I'm not like, they're like, no, girl, what is your even like when I was creating if I created skits and TK is calm, they don't they don't be liking that. But they're gonna have to get used to it because I don't be wanting to do that all the time. But it was just the dynamic of um of me and that person's relationship on camera that made it work. Like, it's like, okay, you naturally would be this according to the public eye. I probably would be the angry black woman according to the public eye. I'm from New York. People expect New Yorkers to be yelling and they expect us to be like this. This is something that I can buy into. That's cool. But once you get people hooked on something, it's hard to get them off of it.
How do you feel when you do a sketch and it's successful and it's not sexualized?
It's most of my stuff. So I it makes me feel creative. It makes me feel like really good. Because
Yeah.
I realize that a lot of people do just bank on that. I love the fact that my fans could come to my page and I don't have to have 10 bad hoes in the video. I don't have to have a girl bending over showing her butt and pushing her breasts. People like me for me. So it makes me feel really, really authentic in the space of um yeah, but which is why I also do like little cute shit sometimes in between. It's like I know y'all want to see this too, but I want y'all to pay attention to my art. And I just know, and it makes me feel real solid in my brand that I'm building and who I am because people like me for me. I don't have to do all the theatrics. I don't have to name a skit something about a butt or a breast or sexual for you to tap in and tune in. My shit is actually funny. Like that's how it makes me feel. I'd be like, you really are as funny as you think you are, bro. I swear you are. And that's me talking to me over there.
The reason why I bring that up is because I think us as people we got to do better, right? Because according to blackmissing.org, 202,000 black youth is missing. Most of them are not even reported by the parents.
Wow. By the
Um,
parents?
They're not. Most of them, a lot of them are not reported by the parents. Not. Um, what do you feel that we can do about it?
I don't know because I'm just hearing this information for the first time. I every time I get an Amber Alert, or every time I see things about like sex trafficking and stuff like that, and then you have movies like Taken. That's like my ideal situation. I will find you and I will kill you. Like that's what I would want to do. But if I'm in the situation, well, there's no way that my child would go unreported. That's number one. But two, I don't know. I really don't. I feel like people should be on the ground running. Like I go into like survival mode, like get our kids back. There's no way. There's no way. Like even if y'all telling me God forbid my child is dead, I'm not even believing it till I got a body. I'm like, I don't, there's no way. And I'm letting it go. So for me, this doesn't just fall on the families, but I'm just thinking as far as like tribe shit that African people have been on. You take somebody from a village, we running up in your village and killing everybody. Like and that's kind of how I'm like, I'm more of a Malcolm X type of chick than a Martin Luther King by any means necessary. So like I don't, I'm more on that side of things. I'm more like, yo, no, we gonna get our hands dirty to get my baby back. But again, I've never been in a situation to say. Like I might just cry for a month, like and not know how to do anything because I'm in shock. Like I don't know what I would do. But as far as like it being a mass problem, um, I genuinely think that there's of course this goes into police. I don't even want to be talking about the motherfuckers because the cops are just something else. They were just something else. But I don't think that they do enough when it pertains to those cases. It kind of is like a there's nothing we can do kind of situation. And it's like, when it deals with kids in general, I've dealt with a situation where my child's father took my son from me. And we had a whole order and everything. Cops basically told me there's nothing that they could do. Granted, my son wasn't in danger, which is why I didn't panic. But what do you mean there's nothing you can do? This is out of spite. This is out of anger. Like, and then there's so many kids who are put in harm's way because there's nothing the cops can do. So if there's nothing y'all can do, I'm gonna do something about it. So and it kind of just the people say call the police, leave it up to police, but when the police not doing nothing, what's next? That's kind of how I be thinking. Like, what's next? And I just think that it need to be more community involved in it.
Absolutely. There was this one girl, and the only reason why I'm even speaking about this because I think that we all can learn for whoever's. You have a very big audience.
Right.
This girl was living in a home with her mom and her brother. The family moved into a shelter, I guess considered shelter with their uncle. So the mom was abusive, right? So the daughter lost her, I guess, welfare benefit card, and the mother told her don't come home until she finds it, and she stabbed her. The daughter ran away, and the mother didn't report her missing until a month later. So what happens at the community? They started posting all over social media, everywhere, and I think she was somewhere down south, but she ended up no, she was in PA, but she ended up in Brooklyn, between Brooklyn and New Jersey, um, shelter listed as
Mm.
John Doe. Which how can a teenager be in a shelter anyway? But someone recognized her in the street. Someone recognized her, and that's due to people sharing it on social media,
Yeah.
just sharing the flyer,
Yeah.
and they was able to locate her and get her help because they found that the mother was trying to report her missing. Like, I don't know where my daughter's at, but the mom stabbed her and threw
Yeah.
bleach
She
on
ran
her.
away.
Yep. So a lot of girls. So when these girls um run away, there's something going on in the household, most likely.
Yeah.
So
I've been a victim of that as well. So I understand completely.
um, question: Who has more privilege, blacks or gays?
That's a good one. I don't know. Because both groups have their own struggle, and there are can't negate the fact that there are gay black people. So, like, it's just I would answer it, but I don't have an answer because it's just like we kind of in the same boat. Like, we all struggling, like we all fighting for rights. We still don't things still are not as they should be. So to me, like comparing struggles is kind of like pointless in that sense, because we both, even if okay, oh we were black people have been able to get married since this year. The gay people have been able to get married since this year. We both had to struggle to do it, so it was still a fight to do both of those things. So yeah, I would say we in the same boat, honestly. Gay people do be running shit though. I ain't gonna hold you. They be running shit. Gay people be running shit. I love to see it.
What do you 75% of black children are born in a single parent household. What's your thoughts?
It's the truth, and it's unfortunate. Willie Lynch put all of this in place, and it's always been a plan and a design to rip the black man from the home. So much that it turned into a thing where black men didn't want to be involved because of how black women have been cultivated over the years of being the strong black woman, and because men have been strong black men have been broken down so much. Now you have these new age black men that are insecure as hell, are intimidated by strong black women, when that's all we've been taught and all we know. So a lot of families are broken up because it's an ego battle and it's an ego war. Like, it's a, you won't let me be a man, and it's like, but you literally are non-consistent. But it's like, but I'm a man, you gotta let me, I need to be able to do this. And it's like, yeah, but I'm holding down the house, so now I have to play strong black woman role because I'm taking on the struggles of what I have going on with my family or at home, and I'm taking care of you emotionally because you are not willing to put in that emotional and mental work yourself. So it breaks up a lot of black families. That, of course, prison, that's a huge thing. All of these things are dated back to slavery. Slavery was the white man's fantasy, ultimate fantasy. So all slavery was the white man's ultimate fantasy. And it is still the white man's fantasy. He just doesn't have, it's not it's in a modern way now. It's still the control, it's still the power. So about so many families having, single parent households, I think it's sad. I think it's really sad. I'm really hopeful for this new generation though. My kids and my people around my child's age, I'm really hopeful for that, because our generation of parents, it's not everybody. Um, Even though it's still a lot of single black households, we are emotionally aware, and we are making sure our kids are emotionally aware and emotionally in tune. When my son has a bad day, and he's like, "Mommy, I don't want to be bothered right now," I'm like, "Okay, me either. Go in your room, deal with your emotions. I'm going here." I'll be like, "And when you want to eat, I hope you remember that," and I'll make a little joke. But I let him feel, because he is growing up in a single black household. There are emotions associated with that. So it's not just the growing up in a single black household; it's what the effects of that are. And not having community and not having a tribe, and kids not understanding, and it's okay to cry, it's okay to feel these things. So being in a single black household is the effects from it that really bother me more than it actually being in a single black household, because if it's for sanity and peace, I get it, but a lot of times it's like just ego.
Yeah, and also too, you can have a child with someone. I get it. Doesn't work out. It just can't be 4 or 5 times.
It,
Pregnancy
yeah.
is 9 months, right? That's a long time. It's not an easy process either. So for it to be repeated, because what's happening is that there's out of 100 men, it's only about a black men in America. It's probably only about a good 12 to 15% that's out there having kids that's not responsible,
Mhm.
right? So there's a small percentage of them just having just going buck wild with it. So to help the black community, what is one thing you would take away?
What you mean, like take away from the black community?
Yeah.
Shit, I would just wipe our mindsets completely of everything westernized and everything that is of America and everything that happened when we came over here on them boats, and reset our minds back to what the hell. Like, the last thing all black people will remember is Africa. And we would, even if in America, the last thing we will remember is Africa, and how rich we were and how much we value community and family and fellowship and togetherness. And if we needed to fight, get your spears out and let's duel it out. Like, I would completely wipe the Black community of our mindset. Like, completely. Like, erase, like, look into this pen right here. Thank you. Like,
What's one thing you would add to the Black community?
it's a beautiful thing. I would add, same on the other end, mindset. I would add, yeah, because everything boils down to mindset. There's nothing tangible that I would put in it, or everything is mindset. I don't think segregation was a bad thing. Like, I don't. I think inferiority complex was the bad thing. It was the fact that one group thought they were inferior to the other. If we were actually segregated, then things would be fine. But it's a mindset. So I would put in Black people a mindset, because like I said, I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, in Crown Heights. That's a Jewish neighborhood. The Jews had their own supermarkets, police officers, all of that. When COVID was happening, I heard in New York, the city is trying to sue the Jews because they would put these locks in the park and the Jews would cut them off. This hard part. Hell you mean? But kids go play. They didn't care about none of that because they run their own stuff. So segregation was never the issue. It was the inferiority complex that came with segregation that was the problem. So I would definitely give to the Black community a completely, or a refurbished, I'm gonna say refurbished, our old mindset back of being kings and queens.
Yeah, growing up when I used to see that, I really wish that we were able to, um, because it's not about money, right? I mean,
Yeah.
they pay a different kind of taxes in order to have their own NYPD, but at the same time, I wish that we learned. I think now is we're so far off with the drugs and so forth. I don't see that black. I don't see us turning the wheel, on a new
Yeah.
leaf. I don't. It's not happening. But I wish that we
No, at least
were
not in our
to.
lifetime.
Yeah, I don't. I think there'll have to be a lot of changes. There had to be a
Yeah.
lot of you know, a lot of birth control. Man, there's 31 different types of birth control.
I don't think that they need to be focusing on women in birth control. They need to be focusing on men in birth control. It should have been from jump. A woman can have a baby twice a year. A man can get a woman pregnant every single day of the damn year. Why the hell are we focusing on birth control for women?
Well, that's
I'm talking
true.
about the mindset. Like what? That makes no sense. Women have to be on birth control. Well, men can get out. If a man wanted to, he can get 365 women pregnant, 365 days of the year. Women can only get pregnant twice a year. Women are the issue in this space. We're not. Even if we making the bad decisions in choosing these people, sleeping with these people. So I'm not taking the accountability away. It's just literally like, women not the problem. The whole country, just as a whole, Black people, we focus on the wrong damn thing. The wrong thing.
The whole thing with recently there was I'm pretty sure you heard the case of Kyle Rittenhouse, right?
Yes.
That's not our fight.
Yeah.
I realized, and I was like, wait, that's not. You have a white person that shot a white person in a white neighborhood. Regardless of how we feel or whatever, that's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
That's not
You
us.
can feel how you want, but it's like, okay, what we got going on? We still over here marching for Trayvon, and the Zimmerman's still alive. Like, what we doing?
I was like, wait. This is the wrong battle.
Yeah, I agree.
There's over 200,000 youth missing, and we're worrying about what the whites of what they're fighting for.
Yeah.
Let them fight it.
Yeah.
So
They need to learn how to fight for something because they just hate.
So let me ask you, right? Okay, have you ever been on a horrible date?
Have I? It's Atlanta I live in, okay? The dating scene in Atlanta is terrible. I have a few.
Which one in particular? You think they're gonna
Okay, so
watch
this date wasn't horrible, but this is what made it horrible, right? So we're hanging out. This is great. This is when I knew that I was doomed, and I'm probably gonna be single for a very long time, and I'm okay with that because I can't settle. This guy said to me on a date, "I hate trees, man. They be fucking up my cellular service." And I was like, "Trees, like the shit that give you oxygen?" I still think Because that's the most recent one. Because I'm like, I'm sitting there like, he can't be serious. And he went on to talk about how much he absolutely hated trees. And I could not get, and I'm like, because it messed up his cellular service. And then everything after that, our conversation was so surface level social media-y. Like, I have a master's degree. I'm a very smart woman. I don't know how I come across to people. I don't. When I wind up in them situations, I look back at myself like, oh my God, what energy did I get off to make him feel like this was okay? Like, what is happening here? But it was such a surface level and terrible conversation. Another bad date that I've been on was with a very egotistical guy. Something that really, really turns me off about men is when men start telling me who they know and what they can do. That irritates the hell out of me. When men start talking about their money, that irritates me because you don't want me to take you for your money. So why are you bringing it up? If I just focus on the fact of money, now I'm gold digger. You know, like what are we doing here? So that was another. I actually wound up leaving that date because we wound up getting into an argument, and his idea on how a woman should submit was like alarming as hell to me. And I told him, actually, I didn't tell him I was going to the bathroom. I was like, I'm gonna end it here. Thank you for your time. I had a good time. And then he got all puffy chest and tried to argue with me about now he wants to split because I wanted to end the date early because I wasn't feeling it. And I'm like, goodbye, sir. Thank you very much. You have a good day. Hold this L because you're gone. Like there, I would, and then the fact that I'm arguing with you on this is supposed to be a date, and I'm arguing with you about your ego. That's probably the worst that I've ever been on. Male species.
So I'm gonna put you on a date right now. Okay, you're going on a date right now.
Okay.
Right now. Okay, so you're on a date, and but you notice everything's going perfect. He ain't talking about trees and the sad, he ain't talking about none of that stuff. He doesn't want his ego, very humble, but he got stuff going on, right? So everything's perfect, but then you notice right over here, his weave beard is peeling, right? How do you have to tell him this? How do you tell him without ruining a date? Because he is a good guy, but it's kind of it's
come
hanging.
Here, back. Come on, we gotta take this right back there. Because if I'm on a date with you, I'm not because I'm not gonna stop being able to stop staring at it. So I'm gonna be like, it's cool. I'm like, it's all right, baby. And if he is insecure and wants me getting mad at the fact that I put his weave beard back, then you should wear a weave beard. Just probably get some products that'll help your beard grow out. But I'm not gonna make it. I'm not gonna make it a thing. I'm not gonna make it hot. I'm like, come here. Let's go ahead and pack this back down. Here we go. And then I'm gonna do some like little cute stuff, and we're gonna keep it moving. Especially if he's a good guy. If he's arrogant, and he's an asshole, and be like, your beard falling off. Like, you should probably fix that. You need to go to the bathroom, use some glue. I got some hair glue on my bag. Like, that's only if he's an asshole. But if he's not, then I'm not making him. I don't want him to be embarrassed about it. Same way if I'm on a day and my track is showing, or my lace frontal is. I got locks now, but I'm saying like if something was going on, I would want you to tell me. Like, don't have me out here looking crazy because you don't want to hurt my feelings. Not at all.
Everyone's taking pictures with social media and stuff. Don't be having me looking crazy like that.
Yeah, exactly. Don't be having me. Let me know. I had stopped talking to people because they didn't tell me I had a booger in my nose. Please don't be that person. Like,
I'm definitely the person. If my breath stink, anything like that, I don't get offended.
Me either. Me either. I need deodorant. Oh damn, I need deodorant. Okay, like yeah, I'm like that too. I'm exactly like that.
Okay, so riddle. Okay, your mom has 4 kids. One named North, another named South, and East. What is the last child's name?
Teekay.
No.
You said my mom has 4 kids.
Yes, your mom has 4 kids.
You said one's name is North.
North. Another called South and East. What is the last child's name?
Whatever my name is. Teekay.
Nope.
Oh, I don't know that.
West.
Why would it be West?
North, East, South, West.
But if my mom has 4 kids,
and
you just named 3,
yeah,
then I would be the 4th kid.
Nope. It's a riddle.
That's what I'm saying. That's the riddle.
No, the riddle, but it's not.
So
the riddle.
I actually saw this on social media.
Oh, you saw
And
it.
she told the dude, I would give you $10,000 for blah, blah, blah. The only reason he wanted $10,000 because his name was actually West. So the fourth kid is your name.
Really?
Only won the
Wow.
$10,000 because his name was West. So he
Didn't
kept
get
saying
that.
West, and he was like, nope. He was like, West. He was like, no. He was like, if your mom, and he repeated it again. He was like, West. And he was like, no. He was like, the fourth kid would be your name. He was like, my name's West. And he was like, what? And that's the only reason why he won. If it was I'm pretty good at riddles outside of that. But if it's the fourth child, if it's my mom and you name 3 kids, I would be the fourth child.
But the thing is that your mom, it's not really your mom.
Yes, it is.
No,
That's the
it's
point
not.
of the
It's not
riddle.
really.
Go back and look at that video and then get back to me. I promise you.
I'm gonna get back to you.
He says it in the video. He says he said north, south, east. What's the fourth kid's name? The dude said West. He was like, no. He was like, West. He was like, no. He was like, it would be West. And he was like, no, it wouldn't be. And he was like, if your mom had 4 kids and I named north, south, and east, the fourth kid would be you, whatever your name is. And he was like, my name is West. It would be your mom. You talking about all the other 3 kids? You would be the fourth child. That's the
All right, I'm gonna get back to you. I don't want to pull it up because yeah,
yeah, no, that's fine. No, but get back to me on
YouTube be,
that.
YouTube be
Right.
funny. YouTube be
cutthroat.
funny. So listen, right? So 2022 is a few weeks away. What can your supporters expect from you?
Ooh. I'm in beast mode right now. I am in beast mode. I am fueled by my healing, by my heartbreak, by all the pain that I've gone through over the years in my life. I am still writing scripts. I have stopped filming horizontal content for the time being because I will really want the quality of what I'm doing to come across with how much work that I'm putting into it, like writing the scripts and creating the scene, etc. Um, so I'm not filming horizontal content. I'm rebuilding my team myself. It's really hard because I don't really trust people now. But it was a lesson I learned this year. They can expect me to continue to drop horizontal content. I do want to get back into vlogs and stuff. People really like my content with my child, so I'm trying to find a way to completely integrate him into what I have going on, what I'm doing, so I can make him some money as well. But growing the TK brand, merch, definitely trying to find merch. Help on merch is like the hardest. This is literally one of the hardest things I've ever done with merch. It is so frustrating. It's not even funny. But merch definitely in 2022. Excuse me. And I will tell you, I can't tell you everything. Is some of the stuff you just got to see it unfold. But if things go the way that I wanted to go, I will be having a big announcement like the end of March into the beginning of April. Um, so, and I've started my stand-up comedy journey. So I've been doing that on the low.
Congratulations!
Thank
Wow,
you. I've
that's
been
a
doing
big
that on the low. I
step.
haven't really let too many people know that if you're close to me, you know. But like, I haven't really let too many people know that it's something I've been practicing, going out to little places and doing stuff. And they can just expect me to be the best me I have ever been in my life. Yep.
How do you want them to support you?
um, you could use. I'm a word of mouth person. I used to work in car sales, and the person who has the the person who's in the Guinness Book of World Records for selling the most cars, has sold the most cars by word of mouth. So for me, people sharing my stuff, people talking about my stuff, putting me in connections with other, people that are doing what I'm doing. If they can try to help, money is always an amazing way to support, always a phenomenal way to support because a lot of the money I'm able to put it into like getting new lights or getting new mics, whatever it is. Um, so monetarily and with views and with sharing it. I really appreciate the comments. I love engagement. Like that's like my biggest way of people showing me I really watched what you did and I liked what you did by engaging with it.
We're gonna put you in something what's called the hot seat. Okay,
Okay.
the hot seat. So basically, what it is I'm gonna ask you a question or give a statement, say a word. You only can respond with one word or
Okay.
answer with one word. Ready?
Okay. I'm
What
scared.
state you don't want to live in?
Arkansas. It's the first thing that popped in my head. I don't know nothing about Arkansas.
Heads or tails?
Always heads.
Family.
You said what?
Family.
Yes.
Money.
Yes.
Homeless people.
Love.
America's current state.
Broken.
Capricorn.
Mean. My mom was a Capricorn.
I know you.
Well,
I'm
actually,
a
oh no,
Capricorn
hold on. I'll take it back. Sarcastic.
Okay. YouTube or Instagram?
Instagram.
New York or Atlanta?
Atlanta.
If there was a war, who will win? East Coast or West Coast?
East Coast, for sure.
Winter.
No. Hate it.
Summer.
No. Not in Atlanta, at least.
How to go to heaven?
No. Oh, damn. You said one word. Honesty.
Lizzo.
Beautiful.
It's free.
It's from, for me. It's free. Me.
Thanksgiving or Christmas?
Neither.
Your last name?
Jackson.
No, your last name. The meaning, you know.
Oh, slavery. Slavery as last name.
This interview.
Impactful.
Listen, I highly appreciate you even allowing me to interview on a short notice, and you was extremely on time. You were there before me.
I don't play no games. I try to be really punctual. You know, you meet a tourist that's either really on time or we're fashionably late. There's no in between. So I try to be on time.
So